Hello. Before we begin the third scenario, we need to take care of some things. First of all, when we completed the side mission, which was our second scenario, we need to pull another card from the side scenario deck. So this is a deck that we've created, based upon the campaign rules. So I'm going to do this randomly. I've already shuffled, but I'm going to go ahead and shuffle again just because. And let's just take this one. So we're not going to play this scenario right now. This is a side scenario deck. That'll be for potentially the fourth scenario. That's Temptation. That's Diala's special scenario. So we'll set that one aside. So then we need to do the upgrade steps for the rebels. What I've done is I've looked through. They each have 3 experience points for the heroes. I've looked through the decks for the 4 heroes, and they're all going to save up for when they have 4 experience, because then they can get a very powerful card. With the exception of Fenn, I like Trench Fighter. So Trench Fighter costs 3 experience points, so he's going to use up all that he's got for this Trench Fighter ability. It says exhaust this card while you declare an attack targeting a figure within 3 spaces. Apply 2 damage to the attack results. That can be huge, killing an enemy instead of just wounding him. So, and then the next step for the Rebel upgrade step is to do the items. So we're on tier 1 items. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these. We get 8 of these because there's 15, and according to Jabba rules, Jabba Realm rules, you take half of them, rounded up, to be the, so that's, we're going to take 8 of these. 3, 6, 8. So let's look at what those are. And that's the one I'm looking for, hand cannon. That's a very good one. And do I see the other one that I like? Combat coat's not bad, but pretty expensive. I don't see the other one that I like, so we'll go with this. So hand cannon. So the rebels have 1,000 credits. That's from the previous scenarios, including the crates that they picked up, especially in that first scenario. So hand cannon, I'll have to make a decision who gets it. I just know that I like it. But that one costs 400 credits, so that's not bad. That's part of the reason I like it. So that puts them down to 600 credits, and I'll just save that. So we like the hand cannon. We'll apply that to somebody. I'll update that when I decide that. The rest of the items go back. Now for the Imperial upgrade step, I've also looked through theirs. They only have 2 experience points, and I don't like either, any of the ones so far. So we're going to save those 2 experience and spend those at a future time when we get more experience. And then the last step for the Imperial upgrade step is to take 4 agenda cards. They only have 1 influence because they spent their other influence from the first scenario. So they just have 1 influence. So we'll see what cards we get. 1, 2, 3, 4. And anything that's more than 1 influence, we're not even going to look at here. So there's 2 influence, a dark power. We've got this one, which we'll look at. We've got shoot first, which I like a lot, but that's 2 influence. Then we've got impounded, 4 influence, so we're not going to do any of those. So we've got tracking beacon, which no, I don't like it. It's not really worth spending an influence on. So they're just going to skip it. They're going to save their 1 influence for the future, and that is the Imperial upgrade step. The last step here before we actually start a scenario, and you can see that I've actually set it up, is in the storyline, the rebels have a choice of one of 2 specific scenarios, and we're going to choose the overcharged scenario. So we'll do that, and we'll start that up in just a moment. For the third scenario, we're going to do the scenario called Overcharged. As a recap, if we remember, Jabba the Hutt's forces saved us from the Imperial forces that were attacking us when we landed on Tatooine. And Jabba the Hutt has offered us to provide safe passage for our family while we're here, and for us, as long as we do some jobs for him. So one of the jobs, we were given a choice of two jobs. We're going to choose the overcharged one scenario. The other scenario is actually one which is difficult to play solo. I won't go into it, but it's a matter of, it's a little bit tricky to play solo. I've played it, and I'd rather just play the overcharged one, even though overcharged is quite a difficult scenario for the rebels. So what we're supposed to do as rebels is go into this warehouse that's controlled by the Imperials and retrieve some of their munitions, some of their explosives, and so that Jabba the Hutt can use them and benefit from that. So that's the job we're doing from him. In order to do that from within the scenario, we have to go next to adjacent one of these explosives. Then we spend, I think it's 2 movement points to claim one of those tokens. I'm going to double check that. Yeah, 2 movement points to claim the token. And once we've claimed 6 of them, notice there's 4 out here and then there's 5 more behind this second door. Once we've claimed 6 of them as a group, then go back to the extraction zone, which is this starting big tile here. Then we win the scenario. By we, I mean the rebels, of course. So I'm playing both sides, so I'm not them specifically. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do, and we only have a limited time. So like most scenarios, in this case, it's only 6 rounds. So let's say there were no enemies. 6 rounds, okay, that's pretty easy. You just interact with the door to open it. You just go around. But hey, there's enemies here. We need to deal with them. We can't just ignore them. So my strategy as rebels is I like to, when there's a clogged board like this, is I like to sweep out some of the enemies. I mean, we can't just go ignoring them. We need to move a little bit, but we really need to attack the enemies. So to that end, what we're going to do is we're going to start Fenn over here. Fenn has the trench fighter, and I've given him the hand cannon. So he's really set for war here. And starting here, he can attack twice, because that's what heroes can do. He's not going to move. The unfortunate part about that is that puts him out at the front, and then they're going to, focus on attacking him. But that's the decision to be made. So with the hand cannon, he's going to attack first to this one, and he'll probably use his blast to get an extra point around. But first, it's this one. So he's going to use the hand cannon, which is 2 red dice. That's why I like this particular weapon, because 2 red dice usually means a lot of attack strength. He doesn't have to decide about his trench fighter, which adds 2 damage to the attack. He doesn't have to decide that until after the dice are rolled, so we'll see what happens. But he is going to activate the hand cannon's ability, because the hand cannon only has +1 accuracy and the red dice have no accuracy numbers. So if he wants to hit something 3 away, he has to activate this. When you declare an attack with this weapon, you may apply -1 damage and +2 accuracy to the attack results. So he's declaring an attack, and he's using that ability, so he can get the 3 accuracy, which is what he needs. So he's attacking that jet trooper right there that I pointed to. Okay. Oh, that's a good roll. So let's ignore the surges for now, because he doesn't have a way to use surges anyway. So this evade is going to get rid of that surge, but the jet troopers have, when defending, you may convert, oh no, they have converting blocks to evade, so that doesn't affect. So this is 4 damage. Oh, minus the 1 for the hand cannon thing. So that's 3 damage against this guy, and that kills him, because that's what he needs. So he is going to do the Havoc shot. Well, costs 1 strain for Fenn, and he gets blast 1 on the attack. So that does 1 damage to this jet trooper. So that was a really good roll. He didn't even have to use his trench fighter. It was a good roll because the block was a really bad roll for the jet trooper. Okay, so now Fenn, in his second activity for his turn, second action, he's going to go ahead and attack this one here. He could attack the probe droid. He might even kill it with his trench fighter, but we're going to attack this because they're going to get 3 attacks if we don't kill this guy. So let's kill this guy. So same thing, he's activating the hand cannon thing, which is -1 damage. Much worse roll, but it's sufficient. So it's 1, 2, 3 damage -2 block. Would be only 1 damage, but he's going to use his trench fighter, new ability. Exhaust this card when you declare an attack. Okay, so I wasn't playing this right, so I need to go back. I'm going to do a repair because I should have exhausted this when I declared the attack. So I just caught myself there. So I'm going to go back and say there's no disadvantage to him going ahead and exhausting this. It's not like, oh, the dice roll I knew, now I'm going to declare, now I'm going to use the trench fight. There's no disadvantage. He might as well use it because it's going to be the end of his turn. So anyway, that's one of the things we do as solo is we kind of go back and we repair some of these situations that I missed because I'm playing both sides. So anyway, that's +2 attack, +2 damage rather. So that's 3 + 2 is 5, but we get -1 for the hand cannon. So I didn't count that. So that's 4 - 2 is only 2 damage. So that does not kill the stormtrooper. It does damage him pretty badly. Okay, and then that's probably the end of his turn. He could use some strain to move, but no, he doesn't want to do that. So that's the end of his turn. So now the Imperial are going to go, and I've put on the Stormtrooper this experimental arms because I figure even if one of them gets killed, the other two will get the benefit of that. So they're going to go ahead and go because there's 3 of them. They want to get 3 attacks rather than just 1 attack for any of the other enemies.
How do you decide who goes first?
Oh, good question. The rebels always go first.
I mean, now
Yeah, when it's
Imperial.
the Imperial's turn. So I have a choice. I can either have the probe droid go, he'd get 1 attack and that's it. I can have this lone jet trooper go. I could have the lone Imperial officer go. But yeah, the strategy is just something that I've decided I've come up with. It might be standard or maybe it's bad strategy. I don't know. It's just what I've thought. If I have one of these singleton people go attack, then they can kill these and that would reduce the number of attacks for them. So my preference as an Imperial player is to go ahead and the one that can get the most attacks in, let's go ahead and get those in. Yes, they might kill this one, or yes, they might kill this one or this one before they get an attack, but that's only missing out on 1 attack. So it's just kind of a thought that I had, especially for low hit point enemies that can die pretty quickly. They better take their turn because they know they're just going to be dying at some point anyway. So let's get their attacks in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. So what we want to do is attack Fen. The other one we could attack is Diala, but she's got some bonuses on defense and might as well just attack Fen. So we want to move the Stormtroopers to get the benefit of their reroll ability when they're next to each other. So how can we best do that without getting too close? If this one moves back here, it can get the benefit of this reroll. This one can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Attack there. We want to be within 3 spaces because otherwise we might miss. This guy can go 1, 2, and then backwards. So I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, Fen with his blast has already gone this turn, or with his blast, so we don't mind being together at the end of this thing. So it's a little tricky, but so he's going to take his turn and go 1, 2. I think that's just where he's going to stay. That's a good place. So he's going to shoot Fen, and he gets the benefit of being near adjacent to a friendly trooper, even though it's not a stormtrooper. It's a trooper, and that's all that's needed. Okay, so green and blue against Fen with the black die. So here we go. Ooh, so Fen had a bad defense, so that's 1, 2. We get a reroll, so we're going to go ahead and use that reroll. Oh, wow, so that's a lot of damage. So that's 4 damage and no block. So yeah, that's 4 damage. Now they could use the experimental arms to get a surge, but that surge is going to be wiped out by that of 8 anyway, so there's no use doing that. And it costs a point of damage to do that experimental arm. So 4 damage, I think that's the most they can do, maybe 5. Okay, so that was that guy. So next we're going to go 1, 2, and then shoot, and then move back, I think. You know what? He's going to move back here. His 3rd move. He started there. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, let's move him back here, just to make it more difficult for the rebels to advance and attack. So then he's going to shoot. He moved up 2. He's going to shoot Fen within 3, so we know it's going to hit. Okay, so Fen got a much better block this time. The Stormtrooper's going to do this reroll. See if they get anything. So they got their Surge, which is worse than what they had before. So that's 3 damage against 3, which is no damage. They can get an additional Surge, but that doesn't get them anything because they've already used their Surge, or they already have used their Surge possibility here. So no damage. See how different it is just on one roll. Okay, so it went 1, 2, so he's going to move back here with his 4th movement point. So that leaves this one 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 4. Or he can just go 1, shoot, and then go where he wants. So that's what he'll do. So 1, shoot. We're back to terrible rolls for Fen. So that was 4 damage again. So again, it was the same roll as before. So we'll get a 5. We'll give up a 1. So that's 8 out of 12 for Fen. And so where does this Stormtrooper want to go? I think that's good. That kind of blocks the line of sight from them attacking him easily. They can attack him easily, but he's already taken his turn, so they still have to move. So yeah, I think that's fine. It's tough to say where they should go, but anyway, that's the end of the Stormtrooper's turn. So now, who wants to go for the Rebels? We'd really like to take out this or this because they haven't taken their turn, or even this, but that's awfully far away. Can we get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She can do her ability, but it might not kill him. So no, we don't want to do that. So can we take this one out? Oh, Diala has a double hit right here. Maybe that's why I put her there. Yeah, that's the ticket. So Diala has reach on her weapon, and this dotted line doesn't prevent line of sight, so she can just hit twice on that guy. She's got her precise strike ability too. I don't see any negative to doing this, except that we're not moving forward. We only have 6 rounds, but I think it's important to get rid of these enemies before they really whittle us down too much. So 2 attacks, can't get better than that. So Diala is going to do the precision strike, which means 2 strain for her, and the defender doesn't get to roll a die on this attack. So it's a green and a yellow, but the defender has 5 health, so we're going to need quite some dice between the 2 attacks. That's good dice. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 damage, or I could do stun, but stun doesn't help here because it'll still get an attack. So stun doesn't help. So 4 damage is good. No other bonuses. So 4 on this guy. So now we have a really difficult decision. If I were a math wizard, I might be able to come up with a good answer for this. She has a 2nd attack, and she's certainly going to try to kill this droid. The question is, does she want to use... Oh, there's no decision. Precise strike says limit once per activation. So I was trying to decide whether to do 2 strain to use this again so we can guarantee a kill, but it's not even a choice. So let's just move on and pretend that didn't happen. So
Great math skills.
yeah, I figured it out. I came up with a solution. So she's going to attack, hope to do 1 damage. It's not guaranteed, as we've seen. But that'll do it. Okay, so that's 3 damage minus 1 is 2, so she even has a surge left over. She's going to use that to get rid of a strain. And that kills the droid, which was very useful. So now she can move, use strain to move. I don't think there's a real benefit to that, enough benefit to that. So she's staying where she is, so 2 activations so far and no movement. And we only have 6 rounds to go. But okay, get rid of the probe droid's card. It's out of here. Okay, who's next? So we could, for the Imperial, we could have the Jet Trooper go or the Officer. I'm leaning towards the Officer because he gets a benefit on defense when he's next to any of his allies. So maybe he can go 1, 2, 3, attack. You know what? Maybe let's put him in front so that they either have to go through him or attack him to get to this one. Yeah, let's do that. They're all going to die anyway, so pretty much. So 1, 2, 3, 4. His optimum firing range is 2. If he's 3, he might miss based on the dice rolls, but 2 he doesn't ever miss. So let's get him there. He'll get the benefit of the defense when they attack him. And he's going to shoot Fen, of course. So it is a blue and a yellow. Let's go with that. That's going to be no damage. So we've got 3 block and we've got 1 damage and 1 surge, which may be 2, so nothing, so no damage. So that's the end of the Imperial officer's turn. And now we've got Shyla or Onar. Ideally, we want to take out this jet trooper before he's taken his turn. So let's see if anybody can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she can attack it right away. She has movement of 5. So I don't see any disadvantage to that. Then he can go 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe and attack him. But we don't have to do that now because this trooper's already gone. So yeah, let's just have Shyla do that. So Shyla's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is adjacent because even diagonal counts as adjacency. So she's going to use the Duelist Blades ability, which means use a red die instead of a yellow die for her in her attack pool. So we've got red and green versus the black on this trooper, and because of that earlier Havoc shot, this has 1 damage on it because of the blast. Let's hope that makes the difference if you're the rebels. So here we go, Shyla using her second activity to attack. Yeah. Well, it's a good one. So it's 4 minus 1 is 3 damage, so that would have killed it even without the blast. But that works. Okay. So now she has a choice of using some strain to move. I'm thinking about that. She's got an ability called Respite. At the end of your activation, if you are not adjacent to any hostile figures, recover 1 strain. So she can actually go 1, 2, use 2 strain and get 1 of those back. But does she want to be there instead of there? I'd say yes. So 2 strain to move 2, and then because of her respite, she gets 1 strain back, and that's the end of her turn. And the reason I want to be there is because we need to get going. We only have 6 rounds to do all of this, and let's keep moving. It does move her away from these enemies, so that's not so great, but they're probably going to be moving anyway. You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I changed my mind, so she's going back, doesn't use any strain, and next turn she'll hope to get 2 attacks to whittle them down. Okay, so that was Shyla, so now there is no jet trooper, so let's get rid of that card. So now it's Onar's turn, so like I suggested, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's his movement. He's going to attack this stormtrooper because this one gets this Imperial officer gets the benefit of the defense when they're next to somebody. So he's got a red and a green, and they've got the black die. Stormtrooper. So that's 4 minus 2 is only 2 damage, so not quite killing it. And that will be the last of the activations for round 1. So basically we're going to add 3. The threat level is 3 now, by the way, for this 3rd scenario. And then the round dial goes up to 2. And then for the last thing of the round, other than making sure everybody's ready here, is do we want to spend 3 points, 3 threat on a rebel troop? Actually, I don't think we can. Oh, we can. We can get a probe droid because the probe droid's dead. It went to our open groups. Do we want to get a probe droid? I think the answer is yes. Let me make sure in the book where that probe droid is allowed to go. Green deployment point. Yeah, let's get a probe droid. Let's not give the rebels any respite. So we're going to put him right here. And the other option would be here, but I think here is good because they're going to have to go around this way. So yeah, that's the end of round 1. For round 2, the rebels have a choice. They've got Fenn, who's 8 out of 12 health, so it'd be nice if he could rest, but I don't know that really resting is a good strategy here at all. And either way, if he takes his turn first, he's not going to be able to attack and rest. He's not going to be able to attack these stormtroopers, so they're going to go 3 against him and just probably wound him anyway. Alternatively, he can go and try to wound what he can, but then again, the problem is he's not going to attack these stormtroopers. So we're going to have Shyla go first, and Shyla's going to try to kill this one. It only has 1 hit point to die, and then maybe she'll move up, try to kill that one. Maybe move up and kill that one. We'll see. So okay, so Shyla is going to do a regular attack, which is green and yellow, against this stormtrooper. Not going to use the Duelist Blade ability this time because she'll get a second attack. We'll see what happens there. Ooh, she should have used it. So it's 2 damage plus 1 for the surge, but it's 3 blocks, so she's actually not going to do any damage. She doesn't have any surge to use, any strain to get rid of with the surge, so she just wasted her turn. So she did nothing. Question of to just go again, or should she move up and attack this? Let's just go again. So she's just going to go again. Except this time she is going to use the Duelist Blade ability. You can only use that once per activation. So now it's a red and a green against the black die. So that same stormtrooper. A little better. It's just enough. So it's 3 damage versus 2 block. So that's 1 damage. That's all it needed. So this stormtrooper's gone. And does she want to do any movement? Use some strain. I'm going to predict that they'll either all be dead or I don't need to keep her around here. I'm going to go 1, 2. So that's 2 strain, but then she's going to use her respite ability to recover one of those strains. So she actually only ends up with 1 strain. So I'm going to get her closer over here. Okay, so now the Imperials can go. Well, again, we've got the 2 versus 1 thing. I could have this droid go and attack Fenn, but instead I'm going to have these 2 go and attack Fenn, so we can get 2 attacks. So let's see. So how are we going to manage this so that they get their benefit and they end up next to him to give him his benefit? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that line of sight? Yes. Is this line of sight? Yes. So both of these are line of sight. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he's going to attack that and be, oh, that'll kind of block him though. No, it won't. It'll work out. He can move here and shoot. So just kind of planning, want to make sure they're not blocking each other's attacks. So we've got this stormtrooper attacking Fenn, and because Shyla didn't kill 2 of them, it looks like Fenn's probably going to end up being wounded. We'll see. So green and a blue against Fenn's black die defense. So that's 4 against 1. So that's 4 damage versus 1 would be 3, but he's going to use the experimental arms. So is that 5 damage? 4 damage rather. So that's 5. 4 plus the 1 surge from the experimental arm, so that's 5 minus 1 is 4. And guess what? He's wounded because of that last point. So using the experimental arms puts a point of damage on this stormtrooper. It's well worth it. And then Fenn is wounded. So 1 down and 3 to go. If the heroes are all wounded, the scenario ends. They lose. Okay. So that was him. He didn't want to reroll anything, obviously. Then we've got this one is going to go 1, 2. I'm not going to move these damage tokens. Oh, wait. Who's he going to shoot now? He doesn't want to shoot Fenn. So who do we want to go after? Who's next? Let's go after Shyla, I think. She can't do any resting or anything this turn or this round because she's already gone. So yeah, let's go after Shyla. We don't need to move to do that. Probably won't even move after the attack. So going after Shyla, get some damage over there. That's good damage. So that's 1, 2, 3 plus a surge we're going to use. So that's 4 damage versus 1. So that's 3 damage on Shyla out of her 12. Okay. And he's not going to move. He's not going to use experimental arms. Another surge won't help him. So that's that. Okay. So the rebels, it'd be nice if they got rid of him. You know what? She's got that precise strike. So his re-rolling of the white die doesn't make a difference because she's going to remove that white die from the equation altogether. So she can attack this guy with her reach, and then she can even attack this guy if she wants to. We'll see. Let's get rid of him before he even gets an attack. So she's got that reach. Let's go with a green and a yellow, and she's going to use precise strike to strain, and they don't get to roll a defense die. So this is against the Imperial Officer. Better do 3 damage, otherwise I have to use her second activation. That's 3 damage, just enough. So that kills the Imperial Officer and get rid of his card. Again, not being able to activate this turn is the goal here. We want to kill target ones that have not taken their turn yet. So that was her first activation. Does she want to just use the second one to go after this guy? I think so. I mean, it'd be nice to move forward, etc. But you get a chance at a decent attack. Let's go for that. So even though he's already taken his turn, she could move up there and attack this, but she won't kill this. This takes 5 health. 1 hit isn't going to kill it. Let's go after this. So it won't make a difference whether she goes this or this. This is going to get its turn. No matter what we do, this is going to get its turn. So green and yellow, and this time she can't use precise strike for a second time in the same activation. So she's attacking a stormtrooper that's right here with the reach of her weapon. This time no damage because he's got the 3 block. So she's going to use the 1 surge to get rid of a strain, and that's better than nothing. Barely. So that's the end of Diala's turn. So now the probe droid is going to go, and we're targeting Shyla, so there we go. So this one uses 2 yellow and 1 blue, so it's a pretty big attack. And she's got a black die on defense. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the surge. The surge we're going to use as +1. So that's 5 minus the 2 block is 3 damage. So we're going to take a 5 and give up 2. So she's at 6. Out of 12. Yep, good question. So 6 out of 12. So now where is he going to move? He's got 3 movement points. He doesn't want... Let's see, who goes next? Onar and Fenn are going to go. So, you know what? Pretty much anywhere he moves, he's going to be in danger there. Let's go here. The reason I'm moving here is to kind of protect him a little bit. Line of sight is difficult in that spot. Onar is going to be able to attack him anyway. We'll see. That's a decent enough place. I don't really see it. I mean, we could go back here, but then Shyla can get double attack on him next turn. So. I don't see benefits. Okay, so either Fenn or Onar now. So, but hold on, that would set up the Havoc shot of Fenn to do extra damage. So let's rethink that movement for the Imperials. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to get away from Fenn's Havoc shot, which he can use multiple times in an activation. So let's not make it easy for Fenn. So 1, 2, 3, so he's there, and then that works out. So now whether Fenn or Onar go first, it doesn't matter. The Imperials have already gone, so we're not trying to knock them out before their activation. They've already activated. But Fenn really would like to attack this and get the Havoc shot to get the blast on him to do the extra point of damage, because that'll kill him. So that looks like kind of a no-brainer. So Fenn is going to ready his trench fighter on exhaust when it's the start of his turn. He's going to use the hand cannon. Do we want to move at all first? If we move... No, he's going to use the... You know what? He's going to use the trench fighter, stay there, get the -1 on the hand cannon, the +2 on the trench fighter. We think that should be enough to... I think that should be enough for the 2 damage that he needs to kill him. So let's go for that. I don't know the odds, but don't tell me the odds. I think that was Han Solo said that. Someone said it. Anyway, maybe it was Star Trek. Okay, let's go with it was somebody said that. Okay, so
Mixing your meat.
yeah, mixing. So Fenn is going, and it's a black die for the defense and 2 red. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's big time. So that so the evade wipes out the surge. We've got 5 damage plus the 2 minus the 1, so that's 4 damage. Whatever, it's enough. He only needed 2 damage to kill him. And Fenn's going to activate the Havoc shot. So take a strain, do 1 damage to next door neighbor here, and that kills him. So that was 2 birds with 1 attack. And then now Fenn can even move. I mean, it doesn't have much movement, but
It's great. While wounded, you can do all that.
yeah, the wound. Even though you're wounded, what really affects is the endurance and the speed.
I see.
Yeah, but the attacks tend to be the same. So it's 3 movement, which is very small, but that's because he's wounded. 1, 2, 3. He could use another strain to move, but no, he's only got 1 strain before he's at his max endurance. Okay, so that's it. And so, as rebels, I look at the board and say, yeah, look at this, we're wiping them out. But look, we're 1/3 of the way through, and we haven't even picked up we haven't even opened the door yet. So I don't know if this is good strategy, but this is what I'm doing. Maybe we should open the door now instead of attack him. So that's the end of Fenn's turn. So now Onar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open the door. But I don't like to open a door at the end of a round, meaning the last person to activate, open the door, because that typically means more enemies. They're going to take their actions. I'd rather wait until next turn, open the door with the first person, then we can attack them, move in and attack them. So
If you think you have enough turns.
I don't think so, but I think we're going to try this anyway. So anyway, let's get him in position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a little trick here. I'm going to try a little trick. So we're going, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to use a strain to get 1 movement point. Then we're going to move 1, 2, 3. So we still have 1 more movement point. You know what? Let me triple check on the doors. I don't think the scenario said anything about the doors. It's just locked to Imperials, but it's not locked to Rebels. So these are unlocked doors. So the Rebels can just interact with the door to open it. So not a problem. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, attack this guy with his bodyguard rifle. No negatives or anything. So the black die and then a green and a red. So we need that red one to be good. Ooh, that is good. Okay. Well, I was hoping we'd get a surge so I can get rid of this strain, because he doesn't use surge for anything, but that's fine. This is good. This is a really good roll. 3, 4, 5 minus 2. So that's 3 damage with 1 hit. So that's good. So next turn we can just kill it. And then he's going to use his 4th point to move here. Movement point to move right next to the door. So, okay. And so then for the last, so that'll be the end of his turn. So we're going to ready everyone, and then we're going to advance the threat dial by 3. Let's look to see, and the round dial by 3. Let's look to see if we can deploy anyone. Oh, you know what? We actually can't. Let me double check what I've got for open groups. So yeah, the only thing that we can do is deploy an Imperial officer, but that doesn't seem very impactful. So let's hold on to those 3 points, and then next turn we'll have 6, and then we can deploy some really decent forces. So so that's that, and that is the end of round 2.